Daf Tzadi Zayin Amud Beis, 10 lines from the top. Lishna Achrina, another version of what Shmuel said. Shmuel said that we can draw a comparison between the dinim of Chatas and the dinim of the Korban Pesach. That whenever by the Chatas, called Chatas Mesa, if one of the cases of a Chatas where it's left to die, for instance, if it's a Chatas that it was Kipru Bala or Mesa Bala, etc., the 5 cases of a Chatas are left to die. In the case where it's a Chatas left to die, in a corresponding case by the Korban Pesach, it's Karav Shlomim. In a case where by the Korban Pesach, by the Chatas rather, where we say that it's La Yirat Yistavu, that it grazes until it gets a mum. Similarly, by the Korban Pesach, it grazes until it gets a mum. According to the Rabbanan, that a Korban Chatas, a person designated an animal for the Korban Chatas, it was lost. Then he designated a replacement one. He found the original one, and now they're both in front of him. So he's makar of one, and the other one is left to graze. It's Yershei Stayv. Now, in the corresponding case by the Korban Pesach, it would appear that it's not that way. So it's not consistent. It's a kasha Shmuel, because the Ilu Pesach, so Ilu Pesach, Hech Dovid v'nimsa acher chatzais kayim shchita yikrav shlomim. Now, by the Korban Pesach, if it was lost, he designated a replacement one. And then he found the original one, but it was after chatzais. So we learned before that, according to Reb Zera, if he found it after chatzais, then we say that even though he hasn't shechted the replacement one yet, but since it was after chatzais, then we say it's yikra of shlomim. Then he's makravit as a shlomim, even though it was found before the shchita. So you see that you have a similar case by the Korban Pesach. We held by the Korban Pesach that it's a yikra shlomim. By the Chatas, if you found it before the shchita, we say yirat shistayv. So you see that it's not the same, it's not corresponding to 2 cases by Chatas and Pesach, Hash and Shmuel. More answers, Shmuel Karabba Svirlei. Shmuel holds like Rabba, the Alma, Shchita, Kava. He holds not like Rav Zera, he holds the Shchita Kava. Meaning that he holds, even if you found the original Korban Pesach, even if you found the original one after Chatzos, we don't say that, well, since it's after Chatzos, it's considered to be a Meiser Pesach. It's considered to be a Pesach that was left over. It's considered to be not a Meiser Pesach, it's a Nidcha, and therefore he holds that you're in such a case that you're not makravit as a Shlomim in such a case, and you say Yirat Shistayv. So therefore it does correspond to the case of the Chatas. But no, it can't be though, because Rav Yechanan said on this, he says, Eina Pesach Karav Shlomim, Ala Shenim Sachar Shchita, Aval Kayim Shchita Lei. So Rav Yechanan says that it's not so. He says that the only case whereby the Korban Pesach Makravit Shlomim, it's only if it was lost, you found it after Shchita. So once you found it after Shchita, it's not considered to be a nidcha, it's not rejected. You didn't have it at the time of Shchita, you didn't have the option of being makravit. It's not considered to be a nidcha in such a case, then you're makravit shlomim. Aval kayim shchita loy. But if you found it before Shchita, you're not makravit shlomim. Alma shchita kava. So he holds, Rav Yechanan says, what's kriveh is a Shchita. So Michlal, the Shmuel Savar Chatzais Kava. So that must mean that Shmuel holds that Chatzais is Kava. That if it was found after Chatzais, even if it's before the Shchita was found after Chatzais, then it's considered to be a Meiser Pesach. It's not considered to be a Nidcha, it's considered to be a Meiser Pesach. And since already at the time of Chatzais, it was not there. When Chatzos came, you didn't find it. So it was not, therefore, you weren't able to be makravit at that time. So you found it after Chatzos, even before a Shchita, we say that you're makravit as a Shlomim, which is not the same as the case by Chatas. By the case of a Chatas, we say in such a case that it's Yira. The Gemara says, Ella, no, it is the same, because Shmuel holds, Ella Shmuel ki Rebbe Svirle, the Omar Avud Misa Asla. Because Shmuel holds like Rebbe, and he says that even if you found it before Shchita, and they're both in front of you before shchita, we don't say Yirachi Yistai by the case of chatas. He says Avuda Lamisa Osla. He says a lost chatas is for misa. You leave it to die, even if it's found before shchita. Even if you find before shchita, you have both of them in front of you. Rebbe holds that it's still, we say it's lamisa, so therefore it's consistent. The case of chatas is lamisa. In a similar case, by the Korban Pesach, you're makved shlomim. Correct the more of a hakol avudim l'Rebbe Mason. But no, how can you say that Shmuel holds like Rebbe? Rebbe holds all cases of avudim by the Korban chatas is lamisa. Now, v'ilu b'Pesach, by the Korban Pesach, Dovid, kaidem b'chatzayis v'nimsek, kaidem b'chatzayis v'raya. But nevertheless, by Pesach, we say that if you lost it before chatzayis, you found it before chatzayis, then we say in such a case, we say it's raya. That's the case. We say that if the one that you're not makriv as the Korban Pesach has been rejected, it's a nidche, it's raya. It's not the same as by the chatas. Rebbe holds that by all cases of the chatas, when it's lost, we say that the din is misa, and by Korban Pesach you do have a case of raya when it was lost before chatzos and found before chatzos. So you see that it's not consistent. More answers, kasavar kaim chatzos lav avadu. So it's lost before chatzos. That loss is not considered avad because kasavar chatzos kava. Shmuel holds that chatzos is kaim. Therefore, if you found it, if it was lost before chatzos, you found it after chatzos, then we say you're makir v'shlamim. If you found it before chatzos, if it wasn't lost after chatzos, when chatzos came, it was no longer lost. Chatzos before chatzos is not considered lost. It's meaningless. It's like we learned before previously that if it was lost at night time, a korban is lost at night. If it's lost at night, it doesn't mean anything. It's not relevant because you can't be makriv at night. The korban Pesach, you can't be makriv before chatzos. So being lost before chatzos does not in any way affect it. It's irrelevant. You can't be makriv at that time. It's the time that you can't be makriv. For instance, if the animal is sleeping, if the animal is tied up at one point in time, it's not nidcha. It's not a question of that it was now pushed away from the mizbeach. It's not relevant. Before chatzos, you can't be makriv the Korban Pesach, so that's not called avuda. So therefore, it's not a similar case. Rebbe Shmuel holds like Rebbe says by all chatzos, he holds it's lamis, and therefore, in a case where the Korban chatzos was lost and it's found, even if it was found before shchita, and you have both of them in front of you, and makriv one, the other one is lamisa. Similarly, by the case of the Korban Pesach, in such a case, if it was lost before chatzos, it was found after chatzos. And Shmuel holds, like Rabbi Zera, that chatzos kava, and therefore, if you found it after chatzos, then you're makved shlomim. So it's consistent. What you have by chatzos is mesa, by Pesach you're called shlomim. Dr. Mishnah, hamafish nekevel of of a person designated a nekeva, a female animal for the Korban Pesach, which is not valid. Korban Pesach has to be a zocher, or a zocher ben shtei shonim, or a zocher, but it's in the second year. Also, it's not kosher for Korban Pesach. So he designated something that, from its inception, it's not kosher. Yirachi Yistayiv, you leave it to graze till it gets a mum, v'yimocher, then sell it, v'yiplu domer l'nedov l'shlom. And you sell it, and the proceeds with the money, you now use that money to bring a korban shlomim. So Yovi bedoma v'yiplu domer l'nedov l'shlomim. Rashi's girsa is v'yovi bedoma shlomim, not v'yiplu domer l'nedov l'shlomim, but Rashi and Taisus are gurus v'yovi bedoma shlomim. And you bring with the money, you bring a korban shlomim. You bring a shlomim with that money. Because it's not, the Girsa is more accurately, according to Rashi and Taisus, v'yiplu b'doma shlomim, because automatically the money becomes a shlomim. Because a Korban Pesach, it was designated as a Korban Pesach, but you can't be makvid as a Korban Pesach, so it automatically becomes a shlomim. Not that you have to take the money and now make a new nedava. So that's why their goyres rather v'yavi b'dama shlomim. Hamafish Pesach is someone who's mafish, Korban Pesach, and he dies, lo yevien b'ne'ach l'shem Pesach. Even though the son inherits it, he can't bring it for Korban Pesach, el l'shem shlomim. He brings it for a shlomim, but he can't bring it for the Korban Pesach. Why can't he bring it for the Korban Pesach? Now we're talking in the case over here that the son was not in the Chabura. He was not part of the Chabura, and therefore, when the father died, therefore we're talking in a case that nobody was in the Chabura. It was only the fathers. There was no one part of the Chabura. The father died, it's left without a Chabura, so it's nitcha. It becomes now nitcha from the Korban Pesach, and it's now you're makriv as a shlomim. Taisus has the kasha, but what do you mean? You can be memana someone for the Chabura until the time of shchita. So over here, obviously the animal wasn't shechted yet, and if the father died, the son inherited it, so now he can now be appointed for the Chabura. So what's the problem? Taisus answers, that's only if the korban is not left at any point in time ownerless. But if there's a point in time where the korban is left ownerless at that point in time, so therefore it's already nidcha. So it can't now, you can't bring it now for a korban anymore for a korban Pesach. You have to bring it l'shem shlomim. If you have an owner and now you want to bring people into the reminded them for the Chabura, you want to register them the Chabura, you can register them until the time of Shechita. But if there's a point in time where it's ownerless, such as in this case over here, then it's nidcha, you can only be makveh l'shem shlomim.